Good morning, I'm WaywornWyrm, and welcome to my channel. So, about 45-ish minutes ago, I got out of It Chapter 2, and I'm filming this to talk about it. The first thing I want to say, before we get into any other thoughts or feelings with this, if you had sensory issues with the first film, you will have sensory issues with the second film. If it's because of hearing, you will have them worse than you had them in the first film. It will be uncomfortable. It will be everything that having sensory issues is like. However, less visual issues, or at least in my experience. Less visual issues this time around, more audio issues. If you're sensitive to both, it probably ends up being a wash. I don't know. That's up for you to decide. So, what I'm gonna do now, here at the beginning of the film, is I'm gonna tell you the video. I'm gonna tell you if I liked it or not. I did. I liked this film. I'd give it a thumbs up if it's thumbs up or thumbs down. Should you go see it in the theater? Probably. I don't know. It's hard for me to say yes or no because, well, it is a good film. I don't think it's an amazing film. It might be a great film. I don't know. I do feel like they should be watched together. I know that is an almost 6 hour dedication for that, but you should watch both of them together because it feels like a single film, or at least by the end of the second film, I feel like I got to the end of a complete story. And year 2 between the movies? Let me check real quick. 2 years. The 2 years between the films was just a really, really long intermission. So, if you didn't like the first film because of how it ended, well, you're going to get your ending in the second film. I was almost always going to like this film because I'm a really big Stephen King fan. I've been reading his stuff for almost 20 years. I was 11 when I read my first Stephen King book. It was Eyes of the Dragon. Story behind that I'll tell you some other time. Let's see, what else? I enjoyed the first film. I haven't seen anything else that the writer or director have done. So, well, yes, I have. I've seen one thing that the writer has written and one thing that the director has directed other than It Chapter 2, and that was it. I never saw the I've yet to see the Stephen Curry version. Is it Stephen Curry? I don't remember. I know that I might be mixing him up with the basketball player, and I hope not. Tim! It's Tim Curry. What the fuck? So, yeah. I've never seen that original It, and I don't think I will. I don't think there's anything drawing me to that. I don't know. Anyway, beyond that, I don't think it's a perfect film. I think it's a good film. I think it's good, really good film. I have some nitpicks with it because it wasn't perfect, and there's one big thing that I want to talk about. And that one big thing is spoilery. If you haven't seen the film, I would recommend you not finish this video, because I think I'm going to talk about the spoilery thing and then just end the video. And this is kind of a really big plot point, so please don't stick around if you want it spoiled, or if you want to avoid spoilers, and I think you should avoid spoilers. So the film flips back and forth between the summer of 1980 something or other and the present day. It doesn't specifically call out 2019 or whatever, but it's basically 2019. And the first scene in the modern time, it might be the first scene of the movie. I don't remember. Is a scene following two guys who are talking about their upcoming wedding. They share some pretty, like, passionate in the way that people who are in love and have been in love for a while have passion. Not the type of passion of, oh, I just recently met you and we're going to end the night in bed together sort of passion. So, like, they just kind of upload, or, you know, they just kind of front load these two gay characters, who then get the shit kicked out of them. One of them gets thrown over a bridge and is eaten by Pennywise, and that's what kicks the plot into motion. It's really weird because it like set up everyone else in that scene, except for the guy who's thrown over the bridge, who had some really, really bad lines. Like, that scene is probably the weakest scene in the film. It felt like they were setting all of those characters up to do something, and then they didn't. I don't think any of them show up in the film again, except one character that they. You can tell she is important in that first scene when she comes back in a later scene and is important in that later scene. And you go, oh, yeah, I see what they did there. Sort of thing. So that all happens, and that's, like, pretty... I think the movie does a really good job of showing, like, here's a gay couple, and then here's violence against gay people, and we're going to focus on this almost uncomfortably because you need to see this. I don't think they glorified it, but yeah. So that's pretty clear. But then it heavily hints throughout the film that Bill Hader's character, Richie, has a thing for maybe Stanley, maybe Eddie. And it doesn't really outright say it. It kind of says he's got a thing for Eddie. In the very end, like, I think it's the last scene of the film, or it's part of the ending montage. That's what it is. And it actually took me to looking up the cast and seeing the cast in a list form on IMDb for me to realize what they were trying to say with that last scene. It was really, really, really weak. That whole he's gay thing feels like queer baiting. It feels very, very strongly of queer baiting. It feels like they want most people to come to the conclusion that Bill Hader's character is not straight. That Richie is not straight. So they can get that progressive woke, if you will, not terrible people money. The people who support LGBT people, who support queer issues, it feels like they want to reach out to them, but they don't go quite far enough, so they can still get that sweet, sweet anti-queer money. Because why make a statement when you can queer bait? It really does feel like trying to have their cake and eat it too. I don't particularly like it. But between that and the volume of the movie, the sensory issues I brought up in the start, those are really the only two main issues I have with the film. The rest are just nitpicks. So, that is my 2 cents on it. I hope you enjoyed it.